Hi, welcome to the gentle stretching. Today we're gonna do some, no pun intended, gentle stretching of the neck. It'll help with the shoulder connection right here, as well as the upper back, the connection with the back of the head as well. We're gonna try a few different things, really, really gentle. We're not doing sequences or anything fast. We're really going slow, trying to understand all the little tweaks and tips and tricks to get deeper into all of those muscles. Um, I made this class specifically so you don't need any blocks, and any straps. However, if you do want to use any of those things, props at all, feel free to grab them, use them at your disposal. And yeah, any questions you guys have, let me know. We'll get started on the mat. This is where if you do have a block or a pillow or something, you can use it under your hips. But if you don't have it, it's also not the end of the world. I'm not going to use one for reference. All right. So we'll just get started here. You can cross your legs however you want. If you do have that block or pillow, you can place it underneath. Just get comfy. If this is too much, like too difficult, some of us have very tight hips, and so it's difficult to lower the knees down. If that's the case, you can always just go up onto the knees like that and allow for the heels to sit right below the hip bones, the ischium bones. Wherever you're at, take a moment to settle into the body. I welcome you to place a hand over the heart and the belly just to establish yourself here in the class, to separate the rest of your day with what we're about to do. And without a good amount of awareness and intention, it's almost not worth it. You need to know what you're showing up for, why you're trying to target those neck muscles or shoulder muscles. So if you like to set an intention now for the class, whether that is not creating expectations or allowing yourself to be a little challenged, having some sort of goal or awareness of why we're showing up is definitely essential. During our practice, I welcome you to take extra deep breaths, the deepest breaths you've done all day, and you can start them right now. If you have your hand on your heart and belly, you should be able to feel the belly and chest rise on the inhales, and feel the diaphragm fall on the exhales. I invite you to almost overdose on oxygen throughout this practice. And because that is what helps our nervous system calm down, it's basically the wall that we need to tear down in order to get to the juicier, most difficult parts of our tight muscles. So when you're ready, you can lower those hands down. All right. So I'll show you two different ways to get into this first one. You can place the left hand between the ischium bone, the sitting bone, and your heel, and the other one, right hand, reaches up overhead, grabbing the left ear. On the inhale, you extend the spine and neck. On the exhale, gently, just with the weight of your arm, you can gently start to pull the head or the right ear down towards the shoulder. We'll take a few deep breaths here. I'll show you the difference if you're sitting with your legs crossed. It's basically the same thing. It would be a hand under the hip and left arm overhead. Same principle. You should feel that stretching, that connection of the neck muscle down to the shoulder. And it can be really tight at first, but as I'm mentioning, use those breaths. It's going to help release the tension on its own. Allow the nervous system to get out of the way, the fight or flight. And you're not pulling the head more than it needs to be pulled. You're just allowing the weight of the arm to do the work. Relax the face and clench the jaw. Two more breaths. And last one. Inhale, arm reaches up. And exhale, we drop the hand down, switch hands, placing the right hand under the ischium bone. Left arm reaches up. Inhale, extend the spine, neck. Exhale, hand over the ear. Inhale once again, keep the spine straight, neck straight. On the exhale, gently allow the weight of the arm to pull the left ear towards the shoulder. Once again, you might feel that resistance in your body at first, and that's fine. But use your breaths to gently remind your body that you're safe. Allow the shoulder to lower down more and more. And surrender to the weight of your arms. Go ahead and close down the eyes. Deep breaths. This is one of my favorite postures for the neck and the upper back and the shoulders. And two more breaths on your own. Last one. Inhale, arm extends up. Exhale, lowers down. You can release the hand from under the hip. Shake out the wrists, the hands. And we'll be clasping the fingers together, placing our hands behind our head, the very base of the skull. Inhale, lift the elbows up, drop the shoulders down, lift the chin. On the exhale, we're going to round our spine, bring the elbows together, and drop the head towards the legs. Again, inhale, lift the chest, elbows, chin. And on the exhale, round your spine, chin towards your chest. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Open up the chest, elbows to the sides. And exhale, round your spine. Inhale, back up. Release the hands. And we'll go for some gentle side bends to each side. You can start with the right hand out of the floor. Keep the hip bones on the mat. Open up the chest so we're not rounding our spine here. Really opening up the rib cage. Gazing towards the ceiling. Option to place your hands behind your head. Lifting your elbow up. For a deeper bend, you can always lower the elbow down towards the mat. If that is accessible to you, you don't want to be lifting your hips off the floor. So just as long as your body is able to bend to that extent. When ready, we're going to inhale, extend the arm overhead. And exhale for the other side. Same thing. Left hand lowers down. Right hand overhead. Option to stay there. Option to place the hand behind your head. Lift the elbow, open the ribcage, gaze up. Shoulders down. If you want, you can lower down onto the elbow or walk the hand further out. Whatever works best for you. When you're ready, extend the arm overhead. Inhale. Exhale back to center. We're going to go for some twists. And I'll just change position so you can see what I'm doing. I'm also switching my legs to challenge the other side of my brain a little bit. When you're ready, our hands are going to twist over to the right. So left hand on the right knee. When you're ready, inhale, extend the spine nice and tall. On the exhale, push into your knee. Gaze back. Lower your shoulders down as much as you can. These are called seated spinal twists. Every time you inhale, imagine that your head is being pulled by a string. You're being extended all the way up towards the ceiling. You're growing an inch taller. Every inhale and every exhale, you're twisting deeper, gazing back like an owl. And one more. Inhale, gaze forward, and going for the other side. Switching arms. Right hand on the left knee. Inhale, extend the spine nice and tall. On the exhale, gaze back. Push into your leg for support. Let's get an inhale, growing nice and tall, extending the spine. Exhale, twist deeper. Inhale, gaze forward. Release the hands, and we'll be placing the soles and upper feet together in a Konasana, also known as butterfly pose. From here, we're going to push those hips back so that we can turn the pelvis under. And when you're ready, we're going to gently lower down towards the feet. You can just drop the head like this. You're not forcing the forward fold at all. We're just allowing the neck to release tension, including the lower back here. If you'd like, you can always clasp the fingers together, place the hands behind your head like we did earlier, and just allow the weight of the arms to pull you closer towards the ground. Deep breaths. Two more breaths. You got this. When you're ready, we're going to clasp our two fingers, our peace fingers, second and third finger, around our big toes. On the inhale, we extend the spine, open up the chest, lift the chin. On the exhale, keep the spine straight, bend your elbows, and pull in. Stop where your spine begins to curl, to round. On the inhale, once again, extend the spine nice and tall. On the exhale, fold in. Chin towards your chest. Inhale last time. This time, allow the spine to round if necessary in order to lower the head. You can clasp your feet differently if that helps you get closer. Inhale, rise up and release. Take a moment, place your hands behind your back on the mat and windshield wipe each side. Gently open up the hips. When you're ready, we're going to cross the legs, bump up to a tabletop position. Hands directly below the shoulders, knees directly below the hips. So what I mean by that is not placing your hands too much in forward, too much behind. You want them directly underneath. And it's much better to spread your fingers out nice and wide. Keep the palms on the floor. Engage the abs. From here, we're going to drop the belly. Open up the chest. Shoulders away from the ears. Gaze up. Exhale, round the spine. Drop the head. And push into the mat. Again, inhale. Open up the chest. This is cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Round your spine. Keep going just like that. Gently connecting the breath with the movement. If you like, you can go a little faster or a little slower than how I'm showing it. Slower allows you to feel the sensations of the transitions, the engagement of your muscles. But faster forces you to go a little deeper at times. If you'd like, you can start creating some circles of the head and neck. One of my favorite things to do with cat-cow. Just like that. Gently allow the head to move along with it. And same with the other direction. So if your head was going in this direction, now changing as well as with the hips. And find a neutral spine, straight back. We're going to do some thread the needle when you're ready. Starting with the right side, as always. Lift the right hand up. Exhale, we're going to thread it under the left arm. Lower down onto the right ear. Option to extend the hand overhead and stay here. Really allowing the neck to release. Or the left hand behind your back. Placing it between the thigh and the belly. Whatever works best for you. Here, the more you shimmy the shoulder underneath, the more you're going to open up the shoulder blade. Target the trapezius. All of those muscles kind of hidden within the shoulder blade. One more deep breath. On the exhale, left hand lowers down. Inhale, right hand towards the sky. Exhale, changing sides. Left hand reaches up. Inhale. Exhale, thread under the arm. Lower down onto the left ear. Option to extend arm overhead or behind your back. This is called thread the needle. On the knees. You're always welcome to do this in child's pose instead if it's too much for your knees. Allow your neck to relax. You don't want the tension to be in there or the weight of your body to be in there, but rather on the shoulder and the tiniest amount on your head. Lastly, and exhale, right hand lowers down. Inhale, left hand reaches up. Hands on the mat. We're gonna walk up onto the knees. This is where we'll get a little adventurous. If you have some very sensitive knees, I'll show you a little trick with your mat. Or you can always add blankets underneath or a very thin pillow, just like this. Just folding your mat inwards. When you're ready, you can move onto the knees, going for some camel prep pose. We can start by having the hands on the lower back, opening up the shoulders, rolling them back and down away from the ears. You're going to push the hips forward, allow the head to fall back. Turn your chin in towards the chest and rise back up. I'll show you the next variation. You can either stay at camel prep or lower down into camel pose, which is essentially the same thing. You're pushing the hips forward, letting the head fall back, but you can go ahead and reach for your heels or your ankles. Keep pushing the hips forward, open up the chest and the shoulders. Chin towards the chest and rise back up. Crazy, huh? All right, we'll do this last time. You take those two variations, whatever works best for you. Here we go. Either hands on your lower back or on your heels. Open up the chest, shoulders down, away from the ears. Stretch your neck. Chin towards the chest. Rise back up and lower down onto the hips. All right, if you folded your mat, you can gently extend back out. This one, or that camel pose, does a lot for the lower back, but as you saw, it opens up a lot of the shoulder, a lot of the diaphragm. And what we're about to do next is has some similar qualities about it. However, we're going to go forward onto our forehead and roll towards the top of our head, but most of the way should be on our knees. So you can watch me if you've never tried rabbit pose. It's pretty simple, but it is, placing weight on 3 different parts of the body, but primarily on the knees. So when you're ready, I always like to start it off by clasping the fingers together behind the back, pulling the hands down, shoulders down, head falls back. Inhale. On the exhale, we're going to lower the forehead down, almost like child's pose. And we're going to roll onto the top of our head. Most of the weight should be on our knees, though. Maybe 5% weight on the head. And our hands are going to be pushed away from our lower back. It's almost like the hands want to go towards the top of our mat. One more breath. You got this. And lower back down onto the heels. Rise back up. All right, let's try that 2 more times. When you're ready, hold the palms down. Open up the chest. And fold forward, rabbit pose. Rolling towards the top of the head. Hands away from the lower back. These are also called humble warrior hands. How we're clasping our fingers together and I'm pushing them away from our back. One more deep breath. And exhale, lower down. Rise up. Last time. Pull the hands down, open up the chest. Maybe the hands touch the mat, almost like camel cup. And exhale, dropping the forehead down, reaching the hips up, as well as the hands. Attempt to bring the hands above the head. There should be no strain in the neck. And when you're ready, lower the hips back down, onto the heels, and rise up. Shake out your hands. If you need to gently extend your head side to side, go ahead. Take a little break. If you need some water, now is the time. All right, we have about 3 postures left before finishing. So if you're just joining us now, uh, yeah, we don't have too much longer to go, but that just means that we're working hard. All right, so when you're ready, we're gonna do some really big heart openers. And when we do this, there's a few variations that we're gonna do. So when you're ready, we're gonna go onto the mat once again. Just like this. Starting in child's pose. Keep your knees a bit separated here towards the edges of your mat. Your palms or hands go forward. From here, you can gaze forward and we're going to slide the hands forward, lifting our hips, dropping down, melting our heart into the floor. You can stay with your forehead on the floor or the chin on the floor. Just depends on how open your diaphragm is and your shoulders. Right here, we do not want to be straightening the neck. So if it's a lot for your neck, place your forehead on the floor instead. However, if this is a very easy posture for you, you can always go a little deeper by lifting the hands, placing them in prayer, and gazing forward. There's also placing the forehead on the floor and dropping your thumbs towards the back of your head. That one is not my favorite though, because it lifts my heart space off the mat, and I would rather open up my shoulders. So it really depends on what you would like to target. If this is very easy for you, puppy pose, you can always curl the toes under, lift the knees up without taking your chest off the floor. Whatever works best. And when you're ready, we're going to gently snake our spine down so our hips and our belly are on the floor, moving into a sphinx pose. Bring your legs together. All of our weight is on our elbows, shoulders away from the ears. So we're not dumping into our shoulders like this. We're still pushing away from the mat. And this is where you could do some gentle hand circles in one direction. You can do about 3 to 5 in each direction. Take it slow and continue to push the mat away. From our sphinx pose, we're going to drop down onto our chest, fingers on the outside of our mat, elbows up. You can bring them a little further in front, depending on how your shoulders or your skeletal system works. But from here, we're going to push into our fingers. So place weight onto the fingers and lift the chest, gaze to your right. Exhale, lower down, forehead on the mat. Inhale, rise up, gaze to your left. Exhale, lower down. 2 more times on each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You'll notice while I'm rising up and inhaling, I'm still pushing my shoulders away and I'm dumping into my diaphragm. I'm going against gravity. Last one. And down. All right. From here, I'm going to go into fish hole. Bend your knees and reach back. You can start by placing your hands outside of your feet like this, and eventually we'll place we'll change the placement of the hands to inside. From here, you're gonna push the feet into the hands. That's the only way you're gonna get up. Of pushing into your hands like that. So when you're ready, push into your hands, lift the knees, open up the chest, gaze up. Exhale, lower down onto the left ear. Inhale, rise back up. Push into your hands. Lower down, right ear. Last time. This time, if you would like, you can place your hands inside of your feet and push. Rise up. Notice the difference in your shoulders. Lift an inch higher. And lower down. Hands on the mat. And we'll push back. Child's pose. This time, keep your knees together. Drop the forehead down. If you'd like, you can always reach the hands back towards the heels. We want some space for the neck to be elongated. So if you feel like your spine is a bit rounded, just move your forehead an inch higher and feel that extension in the entire spine and neck. Deep breaths. When you're ready, we'll rise up onto the knees. Beautiful. The last thing we're going to do today is some eagle arms. I'm just going to place myself sideways so you can see how it looks. You can sit however you would like. However, we are going to be folding forward. So just pick something that helps you stay sturdy on the floor. We'll be placing our right arm over the left and intertwining our arms. Go ahead and slightly round your upper back. From here, lift your elbows up, lift the chin. On your exhale, gently fold forward. Bring your elbows close towards the floor and then rise back up. As soon as you notice your hips lifting off your heels, that's where you stop. We're going to do this 3 times in total for each side. Inhale, rise up. And last time. Rise up. Exhale, bring them from center. On to plane into, release your arms. And go for the other side. So left arm over the right this time. Sitting around the upper spine, lift the elbows. Lift your chin to prepare. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. When you rise up, you're allowing for a little back bend to occur. And exhale, last time. Inhale, rise up. Go for your deepest back bend. Yeah, open up the chest, lift the elbows. And bring it back to center. Release the arms. Shake it out. That means rolling your arms back or forward. Go ahead. All right. That is it for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're feeling all loosey-goosey up here. And these are honestly some of the best things that you can do, especially if you work in an office, sitting on a chair all day and get a little closer. These are amazing, amazing, amazing. and you're also pretty gentle. So if you're looking for more intense postures, those you can find in the next class when we get a little bit more into sequencing, some flows, some standing postures. And if you guys have suggestions, let me know. I'm all ears for themes in the future. Otherwise, I'll let you guys go. Thank you, Gentle Stretching, for having me. That's it from Anik. Ciao!